6158. Again, 800-736-6158.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
Why does 1290 run this town?
It's simple. 1290 is the only radio station that can bring you Arizona football, men's basketball, and baseball. Scoreboard 1290.
This is the home of the Wildcats.
This is Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but three first names, David Scott Kelly.
Hammond to Simpson. Underneath, tried to go to Zope, knocked away and stolen. Boswell will take it back the other way for the Wildcats. Arizona by 7 with the ball. Stop and pop 3. Boswell feeling it tonight. There's another Lexus of Tucson. Charity 3.
Seeking the three-point shot. No Buffalo. Stop the progress of the ball. Boswell bangs in his second tray.
Larson skies for the Arizona rebound. Cats on the run the other way. Pella, coast to coast, lob it inside for Krivas. Caught the ball in traffic and laid it in. Mo trying to spin move, get him down to the block. Turns, nowhere to go, back out to Lewis. KJ will jump it up, banked it home for 3. Now they get it to Krivas at the free throw line, back out to Boswell, and Kylan drains another Lexus of Tucson. Charity 3, that is his 4th of the half. Leave it in the lane, tried to force it inside, stolen away by Boswell. Lead pass ahead to Larson on the run. Pella lays it up and good.
That was a double bounce pass from 70 feet. Kylan Boswell connects with Pella Larson. Timeout Buffaloes.
Johnson tips the rebound out to Larson. There go the Wildcats on the run. Pella in a hurry. Coast to coast inside. Bounce pass low. Reverse lay-in is good.
Drive it hard to the basket when the defense converges. Lay it off to Caleb Love.
Dribble drive right. Bradley into the lane. Stops there. Kick it back to Love. Caleb squares up. Deep 3 is up and good. Caleb Love with the Lexus of Tucson. Charity 3. Feed it high. Borovichinen off to Lewis. High post, Krivas. One bounce to Borovichinen. Works it into the paint. Little runner is up and good. Borovichinen with his first field goal. Got 4 points, 82-42 Arizona. One bounce up to Boswell. Shovel right for Lewis. Lewis fakes right, drives left into the lane. Underneath, Pella Larson will lay it in reverse side.
What a no-look dime from KJ Lewis on the back cut.
Conrad stepped back, shot for 2, high off the rim, no good. Krivas the offensive rebound, bank it in, flat-footed, and he's fouled. For Morauskas for 3, that one off the back of the rim, no good. Rebound tip to Will Mena, who lays it in. Hometown man gets 2.
Yeah, good to see those guys off the bench like Will Mena get into the game last night, and not only get into the game, but get their name in the scorebook in a huge Arizona win, 97-50 over the Colorado Buffaloes, as the Arizona Wildcats get right in their first game after a very difficult loss on the road at Stanford. Next up, the Utah Utes. Saturday night at McHale Center, Utah will come in off a loss at the hands of the Arizona State Sun Devils, who are 3-0. The Sun Devils are 3-0. They joined the Oregon Ducks as a 3-0 team in the Pac-12 Conference. Still early, 3 games. We're 3 into, 20 games we play now in this last year of the Pac-12 Conference. It's still, we aren't even to the quarter mark yet of conference play. But the Sun Devils are off to a very nice start. This is absolutely not the Arizona State Sun Devil team that I witnessed up in Phoenix just a few weeks ago against Northwestern that scored 13 points in the first half. They have seemed to have found something as conference play has started and are playing some very good basketball. They are still a little bit ways down on the schedule before the Arizona Wildcats look at them. But that looks like it's going to be, it always is an intriguing matchup when those two teams get together, but maybe even better than we thought it might be just a few weeks ago. This is DK on the Sports Tip. I'm David Kelly, joined as always by my guy. Oh, there he is.
There he is.
That screen works better. All right. How you doing today, J-Dub?
I'm good. I'm a little tired, but, I'm a trooper. What if I told you, DK, that Arizona State was picked 6th this year? I had to go look it up. Preseason media poll.
Okay.
Apparently, a lot of media members around the league thought they would be better than Utah. Utah was picked 7th in the preseason. So I'm as surprised as you are that they're 3-0 in the conference. But I guess, the interesting thing up there at the school up north is they have so much turnover under Coach Hurley.
Yeah.
Like every year there's guys transferring in, transferring out. It's hard to maintain, a level of consistency when you're moving so many new pieces in and out. But clearly the media members thought that they would have enough to finish in the top half of the conference.
Well, it's interesting. My guy, Doug Tamaro, he's the SID for the Arizona State Sun Devils. He put out a pretty funny tweet. I'm seeing if I can find it here real quick. I might have to come back to it a little bit later. Just kind of talking about this surge that the Sun Devils have had over the course of the last week and a half, and what was behind that surge from, again, a team that maybe the fans didn't think was going to be very good, but has suddenly played its way into a nice position in the Pac-12 conference, at least to start things. And here's what he said. He said, quickly, a few things on the Sun Devils. Getting Sean Phillips back was big. Frankie has gone next level. And when he says Frankie, he is talking about their outstanding scoring guard who has really played lights out the last few weeks, and that is Frankie Collins. So his next line is, Adam Miller didn't play against San Diego. Frankie has gone next level.
Yeah.
His next quote was, Jose wasn't here until late October. Frankie has gone next level.
Right. Yeah.
Frankie Collins is playing at a very, very next level right now for the Arizona State Sun Devils.
They won those 2 games in the Bay Area by a slimmest of margins, right? They won by 3 points and 2 points, I believe. But they really kind of handled the Utes, and the Utes came in really strong. They won that game by 12. The interesting thing to me, DK, is that, the Utes are the only other team in the conference that really have multiple 7-footers in the rotation. And not only that, but they got a couple guys in the starting lineup. So with that Hurley style of 4 guards, I don't think I've ever seen a Hurley team that didn't have 4 guards in the starting lineup. He likes to play 5 guards on the court at the same time if he can. I was shocked. I thought Utah would just be, too big, too strong, just crush them on the boards the way they've been playing. But yeah, somehow, some way, I guess they ran around and found a way to get that win. 82-70 was that final. So, I know a lot of Arizona Wildcat fans don't want to hear this because they would like to see the Sun Devils lose every game, but that's a little scary team right now, the way they're playing.
So we'll talk a little bit about the Utah Utes as well today. We're going to be joined coming up here shortly in this hour by Bill Riley. He's the play-by-play man for the Utah Utes. He's also a radio talk show host in Salt Lake City. So we'll talk to Bill, get his thoughts on that ball club that U of A will face tomorrow. You mentioned a couple of 7-footers that they have. Brandon Carlson, who's a senior and their primary scorer, and Lawson Lovering, 7 foot and 7'1". So it's going to be an interesting battle of the bigs potentially tomorrow here at McHale Center in a game that will tip off at 6 o'clock. We've got a lot in store for you over the course of the next little under 3 hours. We'll go till 5:45 today. We'll take you right up to Arizona women's basketball. The ladies will play their game against Colorado tonight at McHale Center. That is a little after 6 o'clock tip-off, and we will have coverage of that. You'll hear that right here on Wildcats Radio 1290. In fact, you'll hear both of the women's basketball games coming up tonight and Sunday right here on Wildcats Radio 1290. The game, I believe, on Sunday, I had the time on that last night, but that is a much earlier game than I said it was. I believe that is an 11 o'clock game, if I'm not mistaken, on Sunday. I'll double-check that for you. I believe last night on the show I said that was a 2 o'clock game, but it is, in fact, a late morning game tomorrow at McHale Center. I'm sorry, it's a game that will start at noon. So our coverage
noon is late morning.
Will start. Yeah, our coverage will start late morning at 11:45 for that noon tip on Sunday. So you'll hear both those games for you right here on Wildcats Radio 1290. We'll talk a little Arizona women's basketball today. We will let you hear from Adia Barnes, some of the things she said this week in her press conference. Always a great press conference. Adia Barnes is always very thoughtful in the way that she handles her team and answers questions and talks about the game. And so I'll always love sitting and listening to Adia's thoughts on a number of subjects, and in particular her team.
Very approachable, and it feels like when you listen to her answer questions, like she's really eager to inform, right?
Mm-hmm.
That whole thing. And it's not common, DK, these days that a lot of coaches are that open and honest about what's going on within their program. I love to listen to Adia talk during the weekly press conference.
She played here at the University of Arizona for Joan Bonvancini, and Joan will be on the call as an analyst for both of those games this weekend. We will, in fact, chat with Joan tomorrow on the men's pregame show, which will get going here at about 2 o'clock. We'll chat with Joan and get a preview. We'll get her thoughts on the game tonight and preview the game coming up on Sunday, which will involve the outstanding player from the University of Utah, Alyssa Peely. So we'll talk to Joan. First time I have not actually had a chance, I don't think, to ever interview Joan Bonvancini. So I'm looking kind of forward to having a chance to chat with her on her career, on Adia's career as a player and as a coach, and as well on, what she has seen in this conference as an analyst, a very good analyst. She'll work with both those games with Cindy Brunson on the Pac-12 Network, who we've had on our show before as well. It is also Awards Day here on DK on the Sports Tip. We're going to hand out our football hardware, our MVPs. We will announce those in the 5 o'clock hour Wildcat Breakdown. It's the season-ending awards show. We'll hear from Kelvin Efon. We'll get his 3 MVPs. Offense, defense, special teams. Those are what we'll give you. We want to hear your MVPs throughout the show today. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Call up and give us your MVPs. Again, 1 offense, 1 defense, 1 special teams. If you want to have a couple guys, we'll let you do that. I prefer to kind of hold it to 1, but if there's 2 guys you're real strong about and you want to state a case for them, that's fine. But we want to know your MVPs. You can call us at that number, 520-848-1290. You can text us at that number. Text us your information. You can hop on our app, and you can do anything you want on that app. You can text us your MVPs. You can do an audio recording of you talking about your MVPs and send that to us on our app. If you want to make a video of you and your boys talking about Arizona football and who you like this year, you can make a video and submit that to us through our app, and we may put that on the air. Just remember, anything you send me might get out there. So send me something good, because I don't want you to be embarrassed. Joined as always by the third member of our show. Her name is Cricket. Cricket.
Greetings.
It is the weekend.
Indeed.
Woo!
Yahoo.
The first weekend of 2024, and I'm sure that there is a lot of stuff going on. In case you're new to the program, you're starting the year, you've never experienced this on Friday. Every Friday, Cricket is going to tell you what you need to be doing here in Tucson.
Okay.
Cricket, go.
This weekend is the last weekend for Tucson Holiday Ice. The last weekend you can go ice skating downtown at the TCC.
Did not do it.
Still didn't? Well,
not an ice skater.
Well, you said you would not put anything on your feet.
No.
So we kind of knew you wouldn't do that.
Other than shoes.
Yeah, shoes,
regular
of course.
shoes.
Right. And today's also, or actually this weekend is the last weekend for holiday lights at Tucson Botanical Gardens and Reed Park Zoo. And I found something for you to do, DK. Tonight is a Broadway rave. Did you hear about that?
What?
It's a Broadway
It's
rave.
sold out.
Oh, is it?
Yes, the wife and I were looking at because I sent that to her last night and I said, "Hey, there's a Broadway rave. Is there something you might want to do?" And then we went to look for the tickets and they were sold out.
Oh no.
Yeah, so unfortunately we
well.
won't be able to do that.
It was a traveling rave.
Yeah.
J-Dub that kind of celebrates the best of Broadway.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
but the Disney rave is in 2 weeks.
Okay.
That's at the Rialto too. So everything's a rave now. You know,
Yep.
you got the Broadway rave, you got the Disney. So the Disney rave is all your favorite Disney tunes. And my wife loves Disney too. And obviously we have the Broadway tickets. So I said, well, we can do the Disney rave. Let's jump on that now and get our tickets for that so we don't get left out on the 19th.
Good,
of January.
good.
Yeah.
So it's like the Lion King with like deep house beats.
No, well, I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know if that's how they do it or not. I mean, I would imagine it's a dance party, but it might just be, I don't know if it's like dance, if they do it to dance music. I'd be curious to find out. I haven't looked at any videos or anything. Maybe I'll have to pull up a video
Well,
for
you didn't want to spoil
the
it for
next.
yourself.
Yeah,
You
just
got a
be
chance to-
surprised.
Right, exactly.
You should show up in a
Exactly.
costume and everything and not even
Well,
know
now
what to
apparently
expect.
people do dress up for the Disney one.
Yeah,
They
I
wear
could
their
imagine.
favorite Disney character.
People dress up for raves too.
Yeah, they do.
That's a thing.
It
That's a
is.
big
It is
thing.
very
They've
much
always
a
done that.
thing. Maybe we'll have to get you a pair of those fuzzy boots.
Those
that-
boots, yes. And get some glow sticks.
I think glow sticks was like
And
when
you
I
get-
was 12.
And bracelets, you got to have the candy bracelets.
Sure.
Exactly.
Of course.
If you're gonna rave right, J-Dub,
Come on, man.
we gotta get you dressed up correctly.
Get with the program.
Right.
yeah, I'm out of my element.
Apparently.
Wouldn't put on a pair of fishnets or anything like that. No.
I'm up to anything. I'm not against or shaming anybody who's into whatever. Yeah, I mean I'm not against it, but I don't have a pair of fishnets in my closet
Okay.
currently. No,
All
I do
right.
not.
All right. There you go. All right. Well,
When's your birthday?
Mid-May.
I think Cricket's
Notes.
thinking about ideas. All right. So we got that going on.
Yes. And that's all I have for now.
Okay.
I have to save a few things for next
Okay.
time, right? Fair
All
enough?
right. Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. Getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather is Cricket.
And from the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together with collisions reported 29th and Wilmot. Also Midtown, Grant near Campbell on Grant Road east of Campbell. Some slowing at the intersection. Freeze warning 3 a.m. till 9 a.m. tomorrow, 58 and sunny. Tomorrow, rain expected Sunday afternoon, 54 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by ChumbaCasino.com.
Play social games online for free. Head to ChumbaCasino.com now to join the Chumba fun and experience the thrill of the Chumba life. VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Coach Tommy Lloyd here. Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is the ultimate team when it comes to your home's comfort.
Thinking about replacing your heating and air system? It's free furnace season at Right Way.
These are some of the slowest months of the year. We have equipment in stock and our crews are available.
And to spark business, we're including an 80% furnace absolutely free with the purchase of an air conditioning system.
And if that's not enough, we'll include a Wi-Fi thermostat, 10-year parts and labor warranty, plus we have zero interest financing available.
Call or text 520-200-2422 today or visit rightwayac.com.
DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
Working on my hockey link.
You're
my
doing that.
jargon.
You're learning quick.
Do you know what icing is?
I love icing. That's my favorite part.
Yeah, it's the best part of hockey, isn't it?
Don't miss out on all the fun.
And just like that, it's 2024. The new year always comes so fast. The older I get, the simpler my resolutions are. Spending time with family, planning for retirement. But this year, I added protect it all to the list. When my best friend suddenly lost her husband and seeing what her family went through, I realized how important life insurance is. We weren't covered, so I went to selectquote.com. And in minutes, we had quotes from multiple carriers. Then, an experienced licensed insurance agent helped us find the right coverage for our budget. I'm 40, and my $500,000 policy was only $16 a month. My husband's also 40, and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. And with their same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. The holidays were for family, but the new year, it's for protecting them.
Call Select Quote at 1-800-280-8787 or go to selectquote.com to get your free quote. That's 1-800-280-8787. Details on example rate at selectquote.com.
The game of football is about pain. Ever since I was 5 years old, it's been all about football. It's been about running, jumping, blocking, tackling. I stopped playing at 31.
You're listening to Michael Robinson, retired pro fullback.
I thought that foot pain was going to be with me for the rest of my life. I'm so glad I met Good Feet. I'm so glad those arch supports are in my shoes.
Go to the Good Feet store at 4811 East Grant Road or at goodfeet.com.
Well, it's the first part of a new year, and some people are coming up with some pretty interesting New Year's resolutions.
I'm taking karate classes.
Hey, wait just a minute.
Let's get something really stupid tattooed on our butt.
Oh, I'm sorry. Why not make your New Year's resolution to always save up to 40% on your favorite tobacco products at Tobacco Barn? You'll not only save up to 40%, but there's also no city or state sales tax at Tobacco Barn because they're on the reservation.
I'm getting married to the first girl I meet. Hey there, sweetheart.
And you can save up to another $3 with a coupon at tobaccobarntucson.com.
Let's try parachuting. Geronimo!
So save up to 40%, save with no city or state sales tax, and save up to another $3 with a coupon at tobaccobarntucson.com. But maybe skip the skydiving. Tobacco Barn, Nogales Highway, just south of Valencia. Check tobaccobarntucson.com.
Tucson, we have something free just for Wildcats fans living in Tucson. You can now catch all the play-by-play action of Wildcats football, men's basketball, and baseball, and no charge on your smart speaker. Ask it to play Wildcats Radio 1290.
How wrestling really works and how you get the ratings. Eric Bischoff and Conrad Thompson explain on 83 Weeks.
I mean, I dig Jey Uso because he's born out of great storytelling and he lived up to the opportunity and exceeded it. The LA Knight, he's way up on my list because here's a guy that's been around for almost ever, should have probably quit a half a dozen times, and he just forced his way into their life. And now he's making money hand over fist. That is a story I love.
83 Weeks on YouTube or wherever you listen.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
All right, the Arizona men's basketball team will take on the Utah Utes on Saturday evening here in Tucson. Utes come in at 11-3 off their 12-point loss last night in Tempe to the Arizona State Sun Devils. Let's talk some Utah Utes basketball. Pleased to be joined by the voice of the Utes, Bill Riley. He's also a talk show host in Salt Lake City. Is it ESPN 700, if I'm correct, Bill?
You are correct, sir. How are you?
Good. So what happened? That was a tight game. We were actually watching it here in the studio on our post-game show last night, and it was pretty tight kind of midway through that second half. How were the Sun Devils able to kind of take control of that game in the final 10 minutes last night?
Well, they made shots. I mean, they made 11 threes. They're a 29% three-point shooting team, and they shot 43% last night. Utah was pretty loose with the basketball too. They didn't take very good care of it and kind of led to some easy baskets for ASU. So Utah didn't do a very good job of matching kind of ASU's intensity and energy last night. So it was a little uncharacteristic for where they'd been because they hadn't lost since mid-November. They had won 8 in a row and played really well, but not last night. Devils got them.
You know, this is going to be a fun game on Saturday. I mean, we've had some matchups with bigs here in recent weeks. I mean, obviously Umar Ballo on this side going up against the likes of Zach Edey from Purdue and bigs from Florida Atlantic, and then last week in Stanford as well. Let's break down your two big guys that play a lot for you. We've heard a lot about Brandon Carlson, maybe not as much on this end about Lawson Lovering, but how do these two guys? How do they make this team go for Utah?
Well, I mean, Carlson's been a two-time All Pac-12 performer, so Arizona's seen him a few times. He's not playing center though anymore. He's playing out at the 4. and he'll be a stretch, and he's playing really well out there. So I'm not sure Ballo is going to see a lot of him because I'm not sure they want Ballo 20 feet from the basket. But Lawson Lovering's been a guy who transferred in from Colorado. He's done a nice job. But there's a third big guy that you're going to probably have to deal with a little bit tomorrow too, and that's Keba Keita. Sophomore kid, has really elevated his game. He's not 7 foot. He's about 6'9", but he plays above the rim. So Utah's got the ability to play really 3 bigs that are all, in essence, 7-foot types. But you'll see Keita and Lovering playing a little bit more inside, and Carlson playing a little bit more as that stretch 4.
You know, you mentioned obviously with what happened last night and Arizona State kind of making 11 threes. Have you seen that maybe teams that can throw a lot of guards out there give you guys problems because you're playing, multiple bigs?
No, Utah's got really good guards too. They've got Wooster, they've got Davon Smith, a transfer that just got the approval with everybody else from Georgia Tech, Gabe Madsen, Hunter Erickson. Utah's got good guard play. Yeah, ASU just made a bunch of circus shots last night. Credit them, they got them to go. But Utah's actually done a pretty good job this year against some 3-point shooting teams. BYU was maybe the best 3-point shooting team in the country, and Utah did a really good job locking them down. That's the only loss BYU suffered this year. They're 12th in the country right now. So Utah's been pretty good against teams that can shoot it from outside. But last night was just one of those nights for ASU. Utah's got, this is a lot the same team that they've had the last couple of years, but there's more depth and more overall talent on this team. Last year, they just really had a real thin margin for error, and when Madsen got hurt early in the Pac-12 season, then Wooster got hurt too. It really hurt them. This year, they've added pretty good depth across the board. They go pretty much 8-9 deep.
You mentioned circus shots. It sounds like the game that the Wildcats had at Stanford last Sunday when the Cardinal couldn't seem to miss anything that they threw up. This is obviously Craig Smith's, I believe, second season, if I'm not mistaken, in Salt Lake City. What have kind of been the principles of how he has wanted to build this program in the post-Krzysztofiak era?
Third year for him. He was at Utah State, took Utah State to the tournament in 2 of those 3 years. The other year was a COVID year. He took them and rebuilt them on the fly, did a heck of a job. He's kind of done that everywhere he's been. South Dakota as well. As you know, it's a little tougher to do it at the Power 5 level if you don't have those super deep NIL pockets. And so what he's done is he's found guys that want to play his style of play. He likes to run. He likes to get out and do it. But what they really like to have is guys that buy into the program. Tough, physical, smart kids who can run, who can shoot. He likes to play bigs. It's a little different in today's day and age. Arizona does a little bit too. Tommy Lloyd will too. But he just likes to have smart, hard-nosed kids who want to buy in and play his brand of basketball. And his third year now, I mean, they've made some improvement. Year 1 to year 2, they went from 11 wins to 17 wins. We're in year 3 now, and I think they're going to be 17 wins to probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 20, 21, 22 wins this year. And unless things really get sideways, I would expect Utah to be back in the tournament this year.
Bill Riley is our guest. He is the voice of the Utah Utes, also a talk show host in Salt Lake City. Bill, obviously you guys are in a very similar situation to where we are in terms of the future of college athletics and heading to the Big 12. How's that played in Salt Lake City with this fan base? A lot of excitement about what's to come. And obviously, your guys' tenure in the Pac-12 was a little bit shorter, so not multiple generations of fans who were connected to that conference, but how's the move playing in Salt Lake City right now?
Well, I think, initially people were a little disappointed just because, you're right, it's only been a 13-year run, but it's been a pretty good 13-year run, especially in football and a couple of the other Olympic sports too. I mean, Utah won back-to-back Pac-12 championships, went to back-to-back Rose Bowls. That's pretty good for them. They've been the winningest program in the conference for the last 5 or 6 years. So I think they liked it. I think it was a good fit, but sometimes then you have to deal with reality. You have to put that aside, and I think they're pretty happy that they got a landing spot in the Big 12. They'll be able to keep some of the rivalries up with Arizona State, Colorado, and redo that rivalry with BYU on the conference level again. But I think people have kind of resigned themselves to the fact that, yeah, it stinks, but that's the reality of where you go. So now you enjoy one more run in Pac-12 basketball, and then, like Arizona fans, they'll turn their attention to the Big 12 coming up this summer.
Yeah. It's going to be kind of interesting how that all plays out. It does I guess between you and Colorado, has that grown into a strong rivalry? I mean, you two were obviously the final two teams that came into the Pac-12.
There's no rivalry there whatsoever.
it's all Utah and
the,
BYU. Well, that was my next question, because now you're going to be in the same conference with BYU, and that hasn't always necessarily been a friendly type of situation. But what's going to be the anticipation for that now that Utah and BYU are going to be in the same conference?
Well, I mean, they were in the same conference for 80 years. It's only been for the last 13 that they weren't in the same conference. So they're gonna be back on that same standing again. And you're right, there's no love lost between the two schools. It's gonna probably be probably the best, most fierce and nasty rivalry in the Big 12. Although I know the Territorial Cup, I know Arizona and Arizona State fans get a little crazy and nasty from time to time. This one's got, it's got families that get divided. It's got a religious component to it. It's got a little bit of everything, and now the nation's going to get to see it on a big stage. So I'm happy about it. I didn't grow up in Utah, but I've been around the rivalry since I moved to the state 22 years ago. And I think the heart of what makes college athletics great is rivalries. And I think having Utah and BYU back on that same plane again and playing, not just for a one-off game for bragging rights, but you get conference ramifications too. I think it'll be great.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree with that. I said from the get-go, when the Pac-12 started to fracture, that I thought that the move to the Big 12 would be best for Arizona, based on the fact that I believe there's potentially going to be more good rivalries for our sports teams within this conference. And again, I think Arizona BYU is also going to be a tremendous rivalry between those two programs. Obviously, a very large Mormon population here within the state of Arizona. I might contend that maybe the most outside of the state of Utah, I would think, at least from what I've seen. And so I think that's gonna jazz up. There's still a lot of memory when Jimmer Fredette came in here about 12 years ago and laid 39 at McHale Center. I think there's going to be some great opportunity for Arizona to have a rivalry with BYU, as well as a number of other teams, obviously on the basketball side, because of the strength of the conference there. So it's going to be fun to see how that plays out as we get into the turn of the calendar year here in the summer and get into 24-25. Bill Riley is our guest. He's the voice of the Utah Utes. Bill, real quick before we let you go, just want to get your thoughts on what you saw. You guys came in here during the football season and had a chance to see this rebuilt football program in Arizona. What were your takeaways from that Saturday night game that the Wildcats won over the Utes?
Oh, well, not so much about the game itself, but just the job Jed Fish has done. I mean, I like him a lot. I met him at Pac-12 Media Day a couple of years ago. I like the vibe about him. He didn't seem like a phony used car salesman. He felt like he was a guy that was bought into that program and really hell-bent on turning it around, and in 3 years he's done it. So I couldn't be more impressed with the job he's done. And I think both Utah and Arizona are well-suited to jump into the Big 12 next year and have a chance to be conference contenders in year number one. Arizona's always had pretty good offenses under Rich Rod and some others, but he got that defense turned around. He's got a cornerstone quarterback in Noah Fafita. He's got weapons all over the place, and it kind of looks like Arizona fans might actually care about football again. You can probably tell me more than I know, but they had a pretty good crowd that day, and it looks like people have bought in. It's not just a basketball school right now.
And let me ask you this question, because one of the things Jed Fish said when he first came here was he looked at Utah kind of as a model for how he wanted to build his program. One of the things I say was I hope he looks to the longevity that Kyle Whittington has had at Utah and makes that maybe a point of emphasis for himself here. What has been the thing that has kept Kyle Whittingham in Utah for such a long period of time?
Well, I mean, he knows the state. He grew up in the state. He played in the state. But he knows the schools. He's recruited the schools. He knows how to recruit to the state of Utah, and it's his program. That's the other thing. There's not a great history of coaches that have coached a long time. He inherited from Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
Now, Urban had 2 great years, and they were phenomenal years. But it wasn't like Urban was there for 15 years and he had to follow him. It's his program. Kyle's built it. He's built it on his principles and his foundation, and it's kind of his. He's not. Nobody else is there, kind of looking over his shoulder, and he's gotten everything he's ever wanted or needed for that program. So, I think it's been easy for him to stay. He's had some other offers, different places to go, but I think he's built it and he's comfortable being there. And I think if they support Jed Fish the same way at Arizona, he might be a guy that stays a long time in Tucson.
Yeah, it's definitely Kyle Whittingham, definitely an alumni hire that worked out for sure. Those don't always do, but they definitely did in this instance for the Utah Utes. Hey, Bill, we appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us. Have a great call on Saturday here between the Wildcats and the Utes.
Appreciate you having me on. Thanks. Have a good day.
Bill Riley, he is the voice of the Utah Utes, our guest. We will check in and have more for you. As we go along, we'll hear from Jed Fish and his conversation with Jim Rome yesterday on the CBS Sports Network coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, plus our football MVPs in the 5 o'clock hour. Kelvin Ifan, Glenn Howe will join me. We'll give you ours. I want to hear yours. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290. It's DK on the Sports Tip. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions at 29th and Wilmot and 29th Street. Also a crash that occurred Grant and Campbell on Grant Road east of Campbell. Some slowing mostly for westbound Grant Road as you approach Campbell. We got a freeze warning 3 a.m. until 9 a.m. tomorrow, 58 and sunny. Tomorrow rain expected Sunday afternoon, 54 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay, and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Join the growing team at Progressive Insurance. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Hey, Eugene, what's with the giant pile of scratcher tickets?
Just my next greatest idea ever.
Playing the lottery?
That's right, Doug. With all my winnings, I can enroll in the UberTube car repair classes and finally fix your car right. No more disasters, Doug. Your luck is about to change.
Well, then keep on scratching, Eugene.
Good luck, Eugene. But if you need a sure thing in automotive repair or for your next set of tires, check out Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care.
You know, we've guaranteed our tires in every auto repair since 1960.
With more than 35 Top Shop awards and our Partners Network 3-year nationwide warranty, you can count on Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care.
And check out this month's special savings.
Pay with your Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care card and get $66 back. And check out the full page of promotions, discounts, and coupons at jackfurriers.com.
So call ahead, make an appointment online, or just stop by any of our 14 area locations.
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
Wildcat fans, join head coach Adia Barnes and the Arizona women's basketball team in McHale Center this season. Single game tickets start as low as $17 and are available for purchase now. You won't want to miss the fierce competition coming to Arizona. Tickets are available at ArizonaWildcats.com/WBK. Arizona women's basketball. Let's pack McHale Center.
Make sure you download or update the Wildcats Radio 1290 app. We've got the entire state covered like no other sports radio station in southern Arizona. Plus, when you have the app, you can cover U of A sports with Wildcats Radio 1290 anywhere and everywhere you go and out of town, too. The mountains, the beach, working out, or maybe even...
Oh, no. Turn that off.
Download or update the Wildcats Radio 1290 app today and never miss a moment of sports analysis. Well, maybe an occasional moment. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Do you often worry you left the garage door open? With a LiftMaster garage door opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out.
Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates is your authorized local LiftMaster dealer. Visit KaiserDoor.com for more information.
Go Wildcats! As a new season starts, the Tucson Police Department bears down with the Tucson community. We are looking to build our team, and we need you. Interested in joining our starting lineup? Visit jointucsonpd.org. Join our team and score a great career. From our commissioned officers to our professional staff, Tucson Police Department proudly stands behind the Arizona Wildcats. Bear down and apply today at jointucsonpd.org.
Get the backyard you've always wanted with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you're ready to dive in, then visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. Schedule now and get 3 months of full service free. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. First Choice Pools, the first and only choice.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
Here's wishing you a safe and happy new year. I'm Ron Arenas, the owner of Picture Rock's Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. Don't let heating and plumbing problems spoil 2024. When you need us, make a resolution to call 520-440-4069 for honest service to the Tucson area for over 22 years. We are proud to serve you.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Tucson area attorneys. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only. CordellCordell.com.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. We are streaming this show on a number of different platforms today. Video, you can watch today's program at Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. The first three at Wildcats Radio 1290. And then Twitter is at Wildcats 1290. Head on over to any of those platforms, and you can watch the video stream of this show. You can also listen to the audio stream on our website, wildcatsradio1290.com. On our app, download our app, text app to 520-848-1290. I'll send you a link so you can download our app and listen to the show as well as watch the show there, plus all of our great coverage that we've got of the Arizona Wildcats, the Phoenix Suns, the Arizona Coyotes, the Arizona Cardinals, the U of A Wildcats, Pima Aztecs, ASU Sun Devils, you name it, we've got it. In fact, we've got reaction from the Sun Devils after their big win over the Utah Utes on our app and website. So head on over there right now, Wildcats Radio 1290, and download that app today so you can take us wherever you go. All right. Again, I mentioned to you that it is MVP Day, so we want to hear your MVPs for the Arizona Wildcat football team this year. We will have ours coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. Kelvin Efon, Glenn Howe, our analysts, will join us, and they will give you their MVPs. I want to hear your MVPs, offense, defense, special teams. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to give us that this afternoon. Still to come, Jed Fish is going to join us. We'll hear his interview yesterday that he had on the Jim Rome show. That'll be in the 4 o'clock hour. So if you didn't miss out on that, it was right here on Wildcats Radio 1290. We will have that for you. But right now, it is that time of the week. Normally on a Thursday, we had basketball on Thursday, so we're doing it on a Friday. It is time for the Miller Lite Pig Skin Challenge. Here's how it works. I pick the game. Can you pick the winner? If you pick the winner of the game I select from the NFL schedule, Week 18, you are going to win a $25 gift card, courtesy of Miller Lite. The pot got kind of high a few weeks ago, got up to $100 because I'd been winning a lot and you had been losing, but you have started winning again. So it's a $25 gift card, and I will tell you that we will be continuing the Miller Lite Pigskin Challenge through the first 3 levels of the playoffs. All right, so we will have that on Wild Card Weekend next week. We'll pick a game, Divisional Playoff Weekend the week after, and then Championship Weekend after that. So the next 3 weeks, we will not have it, obviously, Super Bowl weekend, probably some contractual stuff there that we can't do at Super Bowl weekend, but we will still have 3 more chances after this week to get in on the Miller Lite Pigskin Challenge. All right, so I'm going to take right now caller number 2, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 for the Miller Lite Pigskin Challenge. I pick the game. Can you pick the winner? And if you do pick the winner, you will get that $25 gift card courtesy of Miller Lite. If you do not pick the winner, then you will get a prize packet courtesy of Miller Lite. And that's got some really cool stuff in it as well. All right, one of the things that we want to get into on the show today is what happened last night here in Tucson at McHale Center, a bounce-back game for the Arizona Wildcats. We can talk about that today. You heard the highlights at the top of the show. We'll hear from Tommy Lloyd. We had a chance to hear a little bit from Tommy after the game, but we had a technical issue, so we didn't get all of Tommy's comments, so we will get those to you as well today. But just a great opportunity to see Kylan Boswell bounce back after the struggles that he had for about 5 games. Found his shot early and then was hunting his shot. 4 3-point shots in the first half of the game, finished with 14 points on the night, and had just the most unbelievable pass that you'll ever see. And unfortunately, it did not end up as one of the, I don't think it was even in the top 5. I missed like the first 3 or 4 SportsCenter top 10s last night, but it definitely was not in the top 5. I was surprised.
Well, I mean, it was Victor Wembanyama's birthday, and he blocked Giannis, so that's a thing.
How old is he now? Is he 20
years old.
Wow. 20 years old. That's crazy.
Yeah, the best thing about it is, like, Giannis, there's been a lot of freak athletes in the history of the NBA, but Giannis is right up there near the very top, right, along with maybe Wilt, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Giannis's comments last night, because that was the first time they had ever matched up. He had never seen Wemby before. Giannis was just almost in awe. Like, he first of all, he said there's no way he's 7'3". That's got to be a typo because he's got to be 7'5" or 7'6", but he just raved about his attitude and just how he attacked game-winning moments down the stretch of games, and just, the physical attributes obviously are there. But when you hear Giannis giving praise to a young player like that, I mean, I always love that when some of the veterans get a chance to match up with some of the superstar rookies that are coming up and just have nothing but great things to say. So that's going to be a fun matchup to watch down the stretch moving forward.
Yeah, well, I mean, it kind of reminds me of when LeBron came in the league and the respect that the guys had for him. I remember going down to one of the All-Star games. I believe it was the one in Atlanta. And I was just asking, I think it was the year before LeBron actually came into the league,
right.
But he was still, a pretty high profile.
Well, they were playing all his high school games on national television at that time.
And I was just asking guys like Kevin Garnett and that about him, and he had a lot of respect from some of the younger guys in the league, even back then, even before he became a star. So it's very much like that for Victor Wembanyama. I think, in fact, I believe we have that one of those highlights from that game, J-Dub, of what you were just talking about there. Those two, not necessarily the block, but I think we have a pretty impressive highlight of the two of them dunking back-to-back.
Fake a spin and a step inside. Side by Giannis. 11 right there with a pirouette to find the 2.
And look at them guard one another.
Trying to poke it away.
Right back, right? Didn't I say there was going to be plays where you and I were going to be shaking our head? Back-to-back plays.
He pulled the rabbit out of his hat right there.
Reggie Miller, even mega impressed by the youngster going toe-to-toe with one of the best players in the NBA. Didn't get a chance to see all that game, saw a little bit of it before we got out of studio to head down to the ball game, but 44 points for Giannis in that game.
The Bucks had just lost to the Pacers for the fourth time this year. He was a little ornery in that post game. Said he's got the Pacers on his mind. So yeah, there was no doubt coming out. It doesn't matter if Wemby was across the way for the first time that it was going to be the full force of Giannis doing his thing.
27 points for Wemby, 44 points for Giannis. All right, it's the Miller Lite Pigskin Challenge. Let's talk to John. You're on Wildcats Radio 1290, and are you ready to play the challenge?
I'll do it if you let me do it.
All right, John, you are up. Here is the game that we are going to select today, Week 18. And today I've got for you a game that is going to decide a playoff spot. There are some spots out there to be taken on this last weekend, and this happens to be one of them. And this game will be on Saturday. It's the late game on Saturday to decide the AFC South Division. It's the Houston Texans on the road at the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are 4-4 at home. The Texans are 3-4 on the road. The Texans are a road favorite at 1 point or 1.5 points. We don't play the line in this. It's a straight up pick 'em. Who are you going to take? I'm selecting the Texans and the Colts. What is your pick in that game?
Let's go with the Indianapolis Colts.
Ooh, why are you taking the Indianapolis Colts?
Home cooking.
Home cooking, he says. Home cooking and little Gardner Minshew, I would imagine.
Yes, I'm wearing the mustache right now.
Are you wearing it as good as Gardner Minshew, though, is the question.
No way.
Not impressed. I think C.J. Stroud is scheduled to play in this game, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's back this week. He's thrown for over 3,000 yards and 21 touchdowns. But Gardner Minshew has got this Colts team playing extremely well down the stretch. And so you're going to go with the home cooking. There's nothing absolutely wrong with that. This is a team that has won. Actually, well, they're 2-2 in their last 2 games, so they stumbled a little bit after they won 4 games in a row. But they're playing for that spot in the postseason. All right, so John is going to take the Colts. I will take the Texans. We will reconvene on Monday, John, to see if you are a winner in the Miller Lite Pigskin Challenge. How about that?
Sounds good. See you then.
All right. The Miller Lite Pigskin Challenge. I picked the game. Can you pick the winner? And again, we'll have 3 more weeks of that coming up for you in the postseason. So it should be fun. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program today. Again, coming up at the 4 o'clock hour, Jed Fish with Jim Rome. In case you missed the conversation, we will have that for you coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. Also, tomorrow is going to be not only just Arizona basketball, but we've got a doubleheader of basketball for you here on Wildcats Radio 1290. In the morning, starting at 10:45, tip-off at 11, it's going to be St. John's at Villanova. You will hear that game here on Wildcats Radio 1290. And then we will pick up with you around 2 o'clock for the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off show. We'll go from 2 to 5 here tomorrow, taking you up to network coverage at 5 o'clock, and then tip-off with the Wildcats and the Utah Utes at 6 o'clock tomorrow. Should be fun. St. John's and Villanova. Love those Big East. Did you watch a lot of Big East when you were growing up?
Yeah, I mean, when we were coming up, you couldn't get anything but the Big East, right? I mean, there were so many Georgetown-Syracuse games on TV. I must have watched more Syracuse and Georgetown games than any other team that wasn't Arizona, because that was what was on TV, right? I mean, if you think about the networks that would carry it, I think it was like, trying to think, what's the one that used to be out of Chicago would always have those games on it. And obviously the Big East at the time with their 6 personal foul rules and how physical that league was, I mean, there was always 6 or 7 national championship contenders coming out at the time. So it was what the ACC is today to college basketball. It was the Big East back in those days. The ACC maybe had 2 teams. The Big East had many teams that were always on the cusp. So, and not to mention that Arizona's coming up. Like when they got their first number 1 ranking, we talked about that in '88. That was on the back of beating a lot of those teams.
Yeah, like you said, Syracuse and Alaska.
Yeah. And then obviously, yeah. So there were some great matchups and just some great teams back in those days. So yeah, I've seen a lot of Georgetown and Syracuse in particular.
All right, so we will have St. John's and Villanova tomorrow. Coverage on the Westwood One network here. Wildcats Radio 1290 will begin at 10:45. Tip off at 11, and then we will pick up with you with the countdown to tip off show at 2:00. So a nice long day of college basketball for you Saturday here on Wildcats Radio 1290. And then on Sunday, we'll have the women's game early in the afternoon, 12 o'clock, start on that. And then NFL football, Sunday night football for you at 5:30 coverage begins. Kickoff at 6:15. It'll be the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins. All of that for you this weekend right here on Wildcats Radio 1290. All right, he is J.W. Madden. I'm David Kelly. She is Cricket, and she's getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Westbound Ajo admission for some backup. So we've got crashes clearing 29th Street in Wilmot. Also Grant Road east of Campbell. Freeze warning in effect, 3 a.m. until 9 a.m. tomorrow. 58 sunny tomorrow. Rain is expected Sunday afternoon. And 54 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. At Progressive, they're making things even easier. They'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. That's Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
License 240693.
Guys, I want to share Alaskan AC's 1-year guarantee.
Yeah.
It's a big deal, a 1-year guarantee.
Doesn't everyone have something like that?
Sure, but they keep your money. We give money back.
Oh. Wow. Can we say that?
Yes, like this. When Alaskan AC installs a new system, it's guaranteed for a whole year or your money back. We'll either fix it to make it work, or we'll hand you back all of your money.
This really makes other AC companies seem kinda lame? That's the word.
Another polar bear promise.
A whole year. If your AC system isn't performing like it should on day 363,
we make it right or give you back all of your money right down to the penny.
Call an Alaskan. No, call everyone else first. See if they'll put their money on the line.
They won't, because at Alaskan AC, we believe if we can't satisfy you,
we don't deserve your business. And that's a polar bear promise.
Guaranteed. Every day at AlaskanAC.com.
We get you so close to McHale, it sounds like the Arizona Pep Band is riding in your back seat.
What the hell is going on?
This is the home of Arizona men's basketball. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Well, it's the first part of a new year, and some people are coming up with some pretty interesting New Year's resolutions.
I'm taking karate classes.
Hey, wait just a minute.
Let's get something really stupid tattooed on our butt.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Why not make your New Year's resolution to always save up to 40% on your favorite tobacco products at Tobacco Barn? You'll not only save up to 40%, but there's also no city or state sales tax at Tobacco Barn because they're on the reservation.
I'm getting married to the first girl I meet. Hey there, sweetheart.
And you can save up to another $3 with a coupon at TobaccoBarnTucson.com.
Let's try parachuting. Geronimo!
So save up to 40%, save with no city or state sales tax, and save up to another $3 with a coupon at TobaccoBarnTucson.com. But maybe skip the skydiving. Tobacco Barn, Nogales Highway, just south of Valencia. Check TobaccoBarnTucson.com.
It's the final season of Pac-12 women's basketball. Tune in this Friday at 6 p.m. as Adia Barnes and the Cats take on 5th-ranked Colorado at McHale Center.
Yes, that's awesome.
Only on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Arizona Complete Health means more than health insurance to me. They're my healthcare partner. We get the care we need from doctors we choose, and even earn rewards for healthy things we're already doing. And with Marketplace, Medicaid, and Medicare options, I have coverage to protect my family's health wherever life takes us.
Arizona Complete Health, a plan for life. Visit planforlifeaz.com to find coverage that works for you.
How wrestling really works and how you get the ratings. Eric Bischoff and Conrad Thompson explain on 83 Weeks.
I mean, I dig Jey Uso because he's born out of great storytelling and he lived up to the opportunity and exceeded it. The LA Knight, he's way up on my list because here's a guy that's been around for almost ever, should have probably quit a half a dozen times, and he just forced his way into their life. And now he's making money hand over fist. That is a story I love.
83 Weeks on YouTube or wherever you listen.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson, duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but three first names, David Scott Kelly.
Leave it in the lane, tried to force it inside, stolen away by Boswell. Lead pass ahead to Larson on the run. Pella lays it up and good.
That was a double bounce pass from 70 feet. Kylan Boswell connects with Pella Larson. Timeout, Buffaloes.
Head on over to my Twitter page at David Kelly 1290 right now, and you'll see the video of that fantastic play there by Kylan Boswell, the left-handed low double bounce pass to Pella Larson. And, you know, the thing I was thinking about that play after rewatching it again is the pressure. It was a great pass by Kylan Boswell, but the pressure on Pella Larson to make the shot on that play, because that it's not a great play unless Pella corrals the ball and finishes at the offensive end. Other than that, it's a pass that might get by and go out of bounds, but you got to finish the play, and that's a heck of a pressure-filled situation there for Pella Larson. Probably one that he didn't even have time to think about, but like he said last night, I just didn't want it to be a turnover because we'd actually seen Kylan throw a long pass earlier in the half, which he kind of threw and it got away from him. But just a heck of a pressure-packed play there on the back end by Pella Larson. We got to give him his flowers.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I challenge anybody listening to go out and try to throw with their offhand 70-yard double bounce pass and put it where you want to, because there was a reverse English on that pass. That was one of the more impressive passes I've seen personally in the building and watching a game. And I've seen, 500 games in McHale Center. But you're right. And if you saw what Pella did on that finish is a very veteran move, or anybody who's had experience moving at speed and trying to finish softly. And what he did, David Kelly, was he put it as high as he could up off the glass because it came off much softer. So, I mean, he made it look effortless with that finish, but that's actually a very difficult finish. You have to give Pella credit for that because moving at full speed, you could see him kind of put into a different gear when he saw that Kylan had let go of the pass. Pella started moving a little bit quicker for a split second just so he could get in front of the defender. The catch was great, and the catch in one motion to finish super high up off that glass to let it fall softly into the hoop. Just a really great play all around.
What did you think of that play last night? We want to hear from you on that. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290. Like J-Dub said, it was one of the best passes, if not the best, he's seen at McHale Center. I can't, I'm trying to think of too many passes in a college basketball game that I've seen that were better than that. I don't know that I remember too many. I mean, obviously, we all remember Sean Miller's lob pass that broke the backboard at Pittsburgh. But, again,
there's been some great passes that I think had everything to do with the receiver of the pass as much as, like, the Leitner to Hill.
That one.
That was, like, that was a great pass, but it was also an impeccable catch. I'm sorry, Hill to Leitner. Reverse that. To go over and high point that kind of thing, T-Mac style. And I think I've seen a lot of maybe three-quarter court, half-court alley-oop lobs. And that's great, too. That's very impressive, especially in traffic. But you got to have a guy with springs or incredibly long arms to be able to get, first of all, have the foot speed to outrace everybody to the rim and also get up to be able to make that pass. So, yeah, Kylan Boswell, three-quarter court, left-handed, off the dribble, too. That was not a left-handed pass standing still. That was off the dribble, left-handed. Just an amazing play.
Final weekend of the National Football League regular season. A number of teams are vying for playoff positioning. The Arizona Cardinals, unfortunately, are not one of them, but the Seattle Seahawks, who will play the Arizona Cardinals on Sunday in Glendale, are one. They are 8-8 on the season, and I'll give you some of the scenarios, at least for the Seahawks, and then the game we just selected as our Miller Lite Pigskin Challenge. This is how the Seahawks can clinch a playoff berth. They need to win. Plus, they must have Green Bay lose or tie. Green Bay will be home against Chicago this Sunday. And if Seattle ties, they need Green Bay to lose, plus Tampa Bay to lose or tie. That's a lot of stuff. Or Seattle, if they tie, Green Bay must lose, plus New Orleans lose or tie in order for them to get in. So the best case scenario for Seattle is they win and Green Bay loses, and then the Seattle Seahawks are in the playoffs. I hate to get into all those ties and stuff. That's just very confusing, but of course, it certainly could happen that way.
Yeah, I looked at the standings the other day, and it felt like, and I had to actually do a double check, DK, to check last year's standings and the year before, because it felt like there was a lot of mediocrity. It felt like there was a lot of 8-loss teams. But sure enough, it's about the same as it was last year, about the same as it was the year before. So you're looking at what? 6 teams with 11 wins or more, and everybody, or 7 teams, and everybody else is right around that middling. So
our Miller Lite Pigskin Challenge, and I mentioned it's the Houston Texans game against the Indianapolis Colts, and that game is for the AFC South title. So here's what needs to happen in that game. For Houston to win the AFC South, they must win. So if they win, or Jacksonville must lose their game, and how they can clinch a playoff berth. So Houston still needs to potentially do that as well. If they win and Houston ties, they can also get in if Jacksonville loses and Pittsburgh loses. So again, win is usually the best way to get in. For the Colts, they must win and Jacksonville must lose or tie, or if they tie, Jacksonville needs to lose. So that's how that needs to shake out in the AFC South division. The Browns are in. That's the most important thing for me.
Woohoo.
We just need to find out who the heck we're going to be playing come week 1 of the postseason. All right, I want you to hear from Tommy Lloyd and what he had to say after the Wildcats' 47-point win over the Colorado Buffaloes Thursday night at McHale Center. Here was the head coach after the game.
Well, I didn't expect that. So happy for the guys. Happy the guys played well, but, I don't know what time we play on Saturday, but, we got to be ready.
I mentioned perimeter defense tonight. KJ Simpson struggled to get any type of open look. Just talk about the defense on him tonight.
Yeah, and we're a good defensive team. You got to trust that, and you're going to have tough nights like we did, and and hey, and look at some of the shots we made tonight, banking in threes and things like that. That happens, So we were on the other side of that a few days ago, and luckily today we flipped it.
Specifically, Tommy, did the offense drive the defense, or the defense drive the offense?
Well, I always want to play complementary basketball. I think your defense has to, complement your offense, and your offense has to complement your defense. So, I don't know. Listen, anytime you're playing really good defense, it can help drive your offense. There's no doubt about that. So, if you're playing with great force on the defensive end, rebounding and getting in transition, that's usually a good formula.
What do you think of this game heading into the Utah game?
You know what? It doesn't matter. There's no plus minus in this deal. We won a conference game at home that we should win. So, we got to come out on Saturday and we play a tough Utah team that's really good. So, we got to be on edge.
Good to see Boswell come out and play the way he did.
Yeah, I thought Kylan played well. Listen, you guys, Kylan's 18. give him some grace. Give him some space, give him some time, let him develop. I mean that's what we're doing, and he played really well today, and hopefully he can continue to build on it. But by no means is he a finished product.
I think Mo is 15 of 17 from the field the last 3 games. Are you seeing anything where he's starting to make that next step?
I thought today was his best game, just of overall toughness, effort, energy at both ends of the floor. I mean, he's got to, when you're a 7-footer in this program, you're a bad man, and you got to play like it, and he's learning that. He's a really nice kid, really soft-spoken, and he's got to toughen up a little bit, and he showed that tonight.
Did you see that on the defensive side as well?
Yeah, I mean, he played his best all-around game by far. Not even.
Importance of having him play those quality minutes when you have Umar out.
100%. It helps us. I mean, now you have 40 minutes of really good 5 play, play at the 5, and which is something I think if you find advantages at that position, it's gonna really help your team.
And he played some games, I think, in the high level in Lithuania or.
Yeah, but it's a new culture, new coaching style, new everything. I mean, it's a learning curve, and you come over here and he is a really good player, but you know what? Sometimes you have to prove it to yourself when you're in that environment, and it takes some time to do that. And hopefully he's on that. He's trending in that direction.
What the importance of coming out the way you did, punching him early, keeping.
I mean, hey, I don't know. It's great when you do it, but I also think you got to be comfortable not doing it. And these high-level basketball games are not going to be 30-point margins at half. We got to get really comfortable playing in close ball games. If it's 22-20 at that third media timeout, we got to feel good. And, that's something we're working on.
What can you say about Utah? I mean, I don't know how much you've looked at them to this point.
I mean, for sure. I mean, Utah's a really good program. Craig's done a good job. It's, obviously last year they really took care of us at Utah when we got back from Maui, and they played great that day. And it was a little bit like, our performance at Stanford. And so you tipped your hat to him, and he had a good team last year. He's kind of got a lot of guys back. He's added a piece or two. They're playing with really big with a couple of 7-footers. Carlson is, he's become a really good player. I mean, he's sprinting and hitting threes in movement, and he's hitting right-hand jump hooks. You make a mistake, he dunks it on you. I mean, he's a good ball player. So they play him at the 4, and, they have the Lovering kid that was at Colorado last year at the 5, and then, they have another 5-man, Kada, off the bench, who's tough. So, no, they present a lot of challenges. They got a couple knockdown shooters and an experienced point guard, and, I think they're definitely a NCAA tournament team for sure. In my mind, not even close. They're really good.
What you assessed overall passing tonight? It seemed like you guys had a lot more backdoor passes than usual.
I mean, I don't know than usual. We want to be a great passing team. It's something we talk about, something we work on, and I felt like it was better today. It was better, but there's still a couple down the stretch where I'm looking like I thought we could have made a little bit unselfish play, more of an unselfish play than we did.
You talked about that schedule and how you wouldn't change, or you liked what you did in December, but how much of this maybe is just being back in McHale? Do you feel like it made a difference?
Well, yeah. I mean, I ran our team through a gauntlet, and I knew we were going to. I would have been shocked if we would have got through it unscathed. Obviously that's what we wanted to do, but it didn't happen. And then and then luck or unluck of the draw. Your first 2 conference games are on the road, and the next thing you haven't played home in a month, and I think we maybe we got a little bit worn down physically, emotionally, and it's hard to trend up all the time. So, Stanford got our attention, and our guys responded, but it don't mean a lot